Arsenal's 7-5 defeat of Reading in the 2012-13 League Cup was an extraordinary game of football. Reading went into a shock 4-0 lead in the first half before Theo Walcott kick-started an Arsenal comeback. It was Walcott who scored again in the 6th minute of injury time to take the game to extra time, where Arsenal looked to have won it before Pavel Pogrebniak bagged a 116th minute equaliser for the Royals. They would win it soon after though, with 2 goals in injury time, rounding off a surreal evening at the Majeski with a 7-5 Arsenal win, only for the Gunners to lose to Bradford in the next round. I'll always remember that evening personally because I had a little 5-team accumulator on since I'd only recently opened up a betting account. It came in, I won about £6, and my mate whose house I was at said, "Wow, I knew they'd all win, that's such an easy way to make money." Fast forward a few years, and he had a destructive gambling addiction, which saw him lose about as much money as Manchester United have on Alexis Sanchez, and I'm always the one who gets the blame. He's been to Gamblers Anonymous meetings and had some cooling off periods, but he's still in a pretty dark hole. Just a timely reminder, when the fun stops, stop. Anyhow, this is one that's been requested a few times, so here is the Arsenal team that faced Reading that evening and where they are now. Emiliano Martinez, Arsenal. The only player who played that night that is still at Arsenal, Emiliano Martinez, was pretty dreadful as the Gunners leaked in goals in the first half, it has to be said. It was only Martinez's second game in an Arsenal shirt, having joined the club 2 years earlier as an 18-year-old, and he's only made 12 appearances in all competitions for Arsenal in the 7 years since. Following Petr Cech's retirement, however, Martinez is actually Arsenal's number 2 now, and you could see him in action this season should anything happen to Bernd Leno. Carl Jenkinson, Nottingham Forest. Once pretty highly thought of at Arsenal, Carl Jenkinson made more than 50 appearances for the Gunners before turning 22, and even won an England cap in 2012. His England debut, and only England cap, came in the Three Lions 4-2 defeat to Sweden when Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored that outrageous overhead kick, and it's pretty much been downhill ever since for Jenkinson. Following 2 seasons on loan at West Ham and 1 at Birmingham City, he joined Nottingham Forest for an undisclosed fee this summer. Laurent Koscienny, Bordeaux. A man who left Arsenal in bizarrely bitter terms after 9 years of valiant service and 3 years as captain of the Gunners this summer, Laurent Koscienny scored twice in Arsenal's 7-5 defeat of Reading, once in his own goal and once in the Reading goal. The French international went on to play more than 350 games for Arsenal, but the 2019 Europa League final would prove to be his final game for the club. As mentioned, Koscienny's departure and particularly his announcement video upon leaving the Gunners this summer was pretty bizarre. He refused to go on their pre-season tour of the United States and then pulled off an Arsenal shirt in his unveiling video upon getting that return to France. He wasn't taking off the Arsenal shirt to reveal a Barcelona top though. He hadn't even signed for PSG. It was Bordeaux, Laurent. They finished 14th in Ligue 1 last season. It was all a bit strange. Johan Djourou, free agent. A man who I always thought played his best football for his club rather than his country, Johan Djourou appears to have fixed all that by not playing for a club at all. At the time of recording at least, Johan Djourou is without a club, although that could all change now that the transfer window is shut and some teams might be on the lookout for unattached players. Djourou left Arsenal in 2014 to join Hamburg, where he spent 3 seasons, but he most recently played for SPAL in Serie A, playing 5 games for the club before leaving by mutual consent in January 2019. Ignacy Miquel, Girona. I'll be honest with you, I seriously don't have any recollection of seeing Ignacy Miquel at Arsenal, although I did obviously watch the game in question in this video. The Spaniard joined Arsenal at the age of 16 and he made 14 appearances for the Gunners, albeit only 5 in the Premier League. He joined Norwich City in 2014, where he didn't play a single league game, and 4 clubs later, he is currently on loan at recently relegated Girona from Getafe. Andrei Arshavin, retired. A mercurial talent, Andrei Arshavin was an unusual footballer who looked brilliant at times and next to useless at others. He joined Arsenal as the club's most expensive player of all time in January 2009, although it's a mark of how frugal the Gunners were in the market at that time that the fee required to do that was still only £15 million. Arshavin had been brilliant the Euro 2008 and he showed glimpses of brilliance at the Emirates. A 4-goal haul in a 4-4 draw at Anfield was the highlight of his Arsenal career, and he retired in December 2018 after 3 seasons in the relative footballing wilderness of Kazakhstan. Emmanuel Frimpong, retired. In the unusual career department, Andrei Arshavin is well and truly trumped by former holding midfield player Emmanuel Frimpong. A tough and athletic midfielder, Frimpong was highly rated by Arsene Wenger, but he suffered an ACL injury which sidelined him for more than 9 months at the age of 18. He returned to make 14 appearances for the Gunners in the 2011-12 campaign, but that was as good as it got for the former Ghana international. He went on to play in Russia, Sweden and Cyprus, but retired in March of this year due to injuries after 2 years out of the game. I think I might have seen him performing in a club with Lethal Bizzle in Malia in 2014 as well. Francis Coquelin, Valencia. A popular figure at Arsenal, Francis Coquelin never showed a lack of effort or application under Arsene Wenger, and at times he looked like becoming a nailed-on starter. He had 3 consecutive seasons in which he played 30 plus games, but minor injuries often disrupted some of his best form. He joined Valencia last summer for a reported €14 million, where he had a promising debut campaign. Theo Walcott, Everton. 47 England caps, 397 games for Arsenal, and 108 goals, Theo Walcott has actually had a very impressive career, but such was his promise at one stage, it makes his many achievements still seem a little underwhelming. Now aged 30, it seemed like Walcott's January 2018 move to Everton would either reignite his career or just mark a slight decline in his talents, and sadly, it seems to have done the latter. He should actually sue Marco Silva down to the ground, but he just can't seem to get going, and he has only made 2 substitute appearances so far this season, having scored 6 goals in 40 games last season. Serge Gnabry, Bayern Munich. The major success story in this 11, looking at it in 2019, is Serge Gnabry. Arsenal agreed to sign Gnabry from Stuttgart for £100,000 when the winger was just 15 years old, and he became the Gunners' second youngest player of all time a couple of years later. He made 14 appearances in the 2013-14 season as a teenager, but after an unsuccessful loan move to West Brom, he was sold to Werder Bremen in 2016. In his first full season at Bayern Munich last season, Gnabry bagged 13 goals in 42 games, being named as the Bavarian Giants Player of the Season. One of the problems for Gnabry at Arsenal, a little like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, were the debates about where was his strongest position. He could play on the right, on the left, or through the middle. Whilst that sometimes seemed a curse in England, it has been viewed as a positive in Germany, and following the departures of the Frank Ribery and Iron Robben partnership from Bayern, one can probably expect to see Gnabry feature predominantly on the wing this season. In addition to his fine club form, Gnabry has also bagged 7 goals from just 8 caps for the German national team. Marwan Chamakh, retired. The second best Marwan to have played in the Premier League, Marwan Chamakh, if we're being honest with ourselves, was never good enough to have been playing for Arsenal. The Gunners were only the second club Chamakh ever played for, having spent the previous 8 years at Bordeaux, where he is a legend. Chamakh ranks 8th in terms of Bordeaux's all-time top scorers, having bagged 76 goals in 301 games for the club. He doesn't rank quite so highly in Arsenal's all-time list, where he scored 14 goals in 67 games, with just 8 of those goals coming in the league. Chamakh spent 3 seasons contracted to Arsenal, but one of them was spent on loan at West Ham. The French-born Moroccan international later had stints to Crystal Palace and Cardiff City, but retired in May 2019 after more than 2.5 years out of the game. He played his last game for Cardiff at the age of 32. So that was Arsenal's starting 11, and of the 3 substitutes who came on for Arsenal that night, by far the best known is Olivier Giroud. Like Chamakh, Giroud joined the Gunners on a free transfer from Ligue 1, but he would prove to be far more effective. He scored 105 goals in 253 games over the course of 5.5 seasons in North London, where he won 3 FA Cups. He joined current club Chelsea in January 2018 and won the World Cup with France the following summer, but it looks as though he's second choice to Tammy Abraham in Frank Lampard's mind right now. Introduced along with Olivier Giroud in the 62nd minute against Reading, as Serge Gnabry and Emmanuel Frimpong departed, was young attacking midfielder Thomas Eisfeld. Another German, this was Eisfeld's competitive debut for Arsenal, and he only ever registered 1 other senior appearance. After a 2014 transfer to Fulham, Eisfeld returned to Germany with a move to Bochum in 2015. And he's been a regular fixture for the second-tier outfit ever since. The last of Arsenal's 3 substitutes that night, and if you know who I'm about to say, then give yourself 5 points and a big pat on the back, since he is the least well-known player in this video, and that man is Junaid Mead. Brought on in the 105th minute of the game in place of Ignacy Miquel, this was also Mead's debut, and he also played only 2 games for the Gunners. Capable of playing on the left wing or at left back, Mead joined Swansea in 2013, where he couldn't get a game, before joining hometown club Luton Town on loan, where he also couldn't get a game. He then dropped into non-league football with Hadley and St Albans City, and is now looking to resurrect his career, as a few English players have done, in Scandinavia. Mead currently plays for Arlesunds in the second tier of Norwegian football. That's it for today's video. Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. Since you've got this far, and in exchange for eternal good luck and happiness, why not subscribe and turn on notifications for the ever-brilliant HITC Sevens. Also, for mobile users, if you click on your screen now, there should be some suggestions of other videos YouTube thinks you might like, and I agree with YouTube. If you're watching on desktop, they should appear of their own accord. Thank you all for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a brilliant day.